Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, January 13th, 2018. My name is Rich, and joining me for our very sober episode is Bijan. How are you making out?
I'm very hungry. That's how I'm making out, to be honest with you. I'm in final training right now for 2 Spartan races that I'm going to be doing at the end of the month. And that also requires me to eat healthy. And I don't know how some people do it, man. Like, year round, I like my burgers. I like my junk food. I am dying here just eating all this healthy food. Ugh.
Just mixing bowls full of salad at this point? Like, how are you coping? What are you getting by?
I mean, I don't do salad, right? Because, like, that would get me ungodly skinny. But veggies, rice, all this healthy crap that I'm just over. I just want to eat nice food. Give me my pizza. Give me my carne asada fries. I need my food.
Well, it must be hard. I don't know how you balance it, right? Because you work out like a maniac, so you have to replace those calories, right? Like, how do you even build it up on veggies?
I don't even know. I'm probably not even doing it correctly, to be honest with you, but I don't know. Just eat like 4 eggs every morning, and then I eat like a small pasta to get my carbs, and I eat a lot of like grilled chicken, right, to get the protein.
Yeah, I was gonna say that you must be just loading up on the grilled chicken.
Yeah, and just all that stuff. And, I take my protein powder like most people, and I work out 2 hours pretty much every day. Fun.
Yeah, sounds really exciting.
I mean, I'm in shape, y'all. I mean, I lost 8 pounds of fat this past week, put on some muscle and all that. I look great. My girlfriend's not complaining, nice. But I hate it.
So what's your time frame? When are you going to do the Spartans?
January 27th and 28th. And I'm pretty much in Spartan shape, I'm only about 2 pounds off from, my peak Spartan weight, and my cardio's there, so I'm pretty much ready. I just want it to be over with so I can go back to eating. I know it's ridiculous to complain about that, but man, I'm really missing food right now.
I don't find it ridiculous at all. So this episode, we're going to actually be taking it, if you can't tell already, we're going to be taking it a little easy. We're actually going to be skipping out on the Beastmaster coverage this week, just to kind of chill a little bit, talk about some of the ninja news, and we've got a couple of questions that people have sent in, so
yeah,
should be relaxed. Much shorter episode this week.
Mm-hmm. Mid-season break, y'all.
First thing we got to mention is Noah Kaufman retiring from Ninja, sort of.
Oof. What do you mean, sort of?
Well, he's retiring from competing.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like become one of those like players that became a coach.
Okay, so why don't you explain, everything to the audience?
Yeah, so Noah posted on Facebook, I'll link it in the show notes, of course, that he is retiring from the sport of ANW to focus on the Wolfpack Ninja Tour and all this, basically trying to grow Ninja as a sport, not being an active competitor himself, which it's totally understandable. Certainly sad to see him go, but he's not really gone, so it's a little bittersweet. I think that's a better focus for him, because I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, good point. I think this is a good role for him to transition to. Noah's been doing fantastic, as you guys imagine, for the past few seasons, especially on Team Ninja Warrior. I think that's where he got a lot of his grounding with his team. But, I do think when you think about Noah Kaufman over the past 2 years, it has been far more about the Wolfpack Ninja Tour, Wolfpack Ninja podcast, things like that. So I do think him taking time to step away and fully immerse like all of his attention in that, I think is really good for him. And I think he's going to make a name for himself outside of competition a whole lot more. So I'm happy for him. I'd have to imagine it's a lot less stress on his family too. And yeah, I'm happy for the guy. He went out on his own terms, which is always really important to do for any athlete. And I really wish the guy all the best. As you can imagine, we're going to stay in contact with him and, pick his brain a little bit more about like what his plans are, where his mindset is now. But it seems like he's in good spirits and he's happy to transition and make this transition at this point in his life.
Yeah, I suspect after we're done with Ultimate Beastmaster, We'll try to get Noah back on the podcast, and I think he's game to come on, and we can talk about what the plans are for Wolfpack Ninja Tour in 2018, because it's pretty exciting stuff.
Mm-hmm. If he's offered to be on Ultimate Beastmaster, you think he'd do it?
No, I don't think he would. I think it'd be too much. I think he's trying to, like, as you mentioned, to go back to what you're saying about trying to focus on your training and getting ready for your Spartans, it's a lot to get ready for Ninja too. And on top of everything else they're doing, it just doesn't seem like it's feasible to get in that top shape that they want to be to compete.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't think you would. Personally, I could be wrong. Certainly could be wrong.
Well, we can find out soon.
After he was talking so much smack last year, it would be really funny to see him go on.
Yeah. But yeah, I wish you all the best, man. All the best, Noah, and hope to talk to you soon.
Moving on to an interesting email that we got from Eddie Hilburn. He pointed out to us the ANW Experience brackets and the way that this is all going to go down. So for those that aren't aware, I'm sure if you listen to our podcast, you probably are, but the ANW Experience is a tour that's going on. It will be coming to Phoenix and San Diego. So it'll be in Phoenix on February 10th and 11th, and San Diego March 3rd and 4th, where amateurs can race against ninjas you've seen on the show, and spectators can come go, meet their favorite ninjas, and it's a whole big thing. Very, very cool. But the rules are a little odd, I guess, a little stacked in a way we hadn't expected.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
So the competitors are racing for $50,000 in cash prizes. The top 22 will all get paid something, from $200 up to $8,000. And brackets for the men, they have 90 amateurs competing against 33 invited athletes, which would be kind of like mid-level ninjas, I guess, if you want to call it that. Yeah. I don't know what else.
People have been on American Ninja Warrior, but they're not names like Jesse Graff or anything like that.
So there's 90 amateurs, 33. That's 123 people competing for 6 spots for the men, and those 6 will face off against the 5 featured ninjas, which are the absolute best of the best.
Yeah. So you have to imagine like featured ninjas would be to the caliber Drew Dreschel, Nicholas Coleridge, people that, are going deep into stage 2 and 3, right? I see both sides to this. If you're competing in this is incredibly unfair if you're looking at it from a sporting perspective, right? And the reason for that is because the brackets don't really tell the full story. When they say 90 amateurs against 33 invited, you're going to be competing through multiple rounds of competition to get to the point of maybe making it to the finals, right? So say I enter into the amateur bracket. I'm going to have to fight off and compete against 90 amateurs to get to an opportunity to face off against the 33 invited athletes who are going to be far more, I guess, in shape and prepared. They've done these obstacles before. From there, if somehow I am able to just kill myself and make it onto the finals, I'm worn out, my muscles are fatigued. And remember, these types of things are all happening in one day in the span of just a few hours. This is not a multi-day experience. So I am completely worn. And who do I have to compete against? 5 of the very top ninjas in the entire sport. Unfortunately, I give nobody a chance other than the 5 featured ninjas. That said, that's from a sporting perspective of unfairness. The main thing for this is that everybody going to the American Ninja Warrior Experience is going to have tickets to watch this competition. So from a viewer's perspective, they're going to see the featured ninjas, the big names. If I had a daughter, I have to imagine she's going to want to see Jesse Graff compete. And if there's a chance for the 5 featured ninjas that are going to have big names in the sport, like all the big stars you can imagine, if there's a chance for them to get knocked out in the very, very early standings from like one of the amateurs or something, that's not going to do well in the finals. So I understand from from a viewer's perspective, from a television perspective, from whatever, it is nice to see this one guy, this Cinderella story of a person that fought his way to the ranks, made it to the finals the entire day, competing against your favorite ninja to probably get destroyed. I see both sides to that coin. I personally don't have too much of a problem with it, but I very much understand anybody that would. How do you feel, Rich?
I keep going back and forth. The more thought I put on it as a spectator, I'm there to see those featured ninjas. So yeah, I'm totally gonna want to see them run the course. So I don't want to get to the main event and have it a bunch of people I don't know. That would definitely not be satisfying. Even if I know that the one running the course, knocked out Joe Moravsky early, that doesn't really do much for me, right? I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna break out so many people. How do you run through that many amateurs and invited athletes in one day? Like, how do you narrow that number down to 6 people?
Very quickly. I have a feeling these runs are going to be very quick. And from what I understand, like the 90 amateurs, I don't even necessarily know if they're going to be running against each other all that much, right? It might be something where it's all timed.
Oh, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, it's not necessarily yeah, what am I thinking? That's not even a...
That said,
it's
though,
not
they're
like
competing
Team Ninja Warrior, right? So yeah, they probably are just going
against
time trials.
Yeah, that said, I mean, they're going against 33 invited athletes, which I don't know. I have a feeling these 33 invited athletes are not going to be schmucks. These are going to be very high level ninjas. So honestly, I have a feeling there's going to be, out of the 90 amateurs, I give maybe 10 a chance to make it, right? I give a far better perspective to the 33 invited athletes to compete against the featured athletes. And from there, I do think we might see some upsets. But I don't know. I mean, these featured athletes are going to be going in with a huge advantage.
There's a few things, though, we have to remember. So, one, I can virtually guarantee, once you said that all makes sense. It's got to be time trials. It's the only way you can put so many people through. And fatigue then is not an issue, right? Everyone runs the course 2 times,
except
3
the
times,
featured.
Or once. Except the featured. They're going to be doing other stuff all day. They're going to be at least tired from, doing a couple of things through the day. I don't think... It's not like they're going to be doing this long marathon of runs like we saw with the Wolfpack Ninja Tour, where they're just hammering through the course over and over and over again, and everybody was exhausted by the end. I'm assuming it's going to have to be time trials, and the top 6 move on, which puts everybody on an equal playing field as far as the 90 versus the 33, and then not having that exhaustion to face the featured. But I wouldn't discount the amateurs completely. You got to think, the amateurs, the closest we get to amateurs are the walk-ons, right? Right. Walk-ons are people that have never been, we're not invited to be on the show, but they're that diehard that come out of nowhere people. And we've had our Kevin Bowles, and I think Adam Rail the first season might have even been a walk-on. There's been a few very good ninjas take the course from nowhere, right? We could have those diamonds in the rough, and there's 90 men and 40 women that have that opportunity. It'd be interesting. It'd be very cool, I think, if one of them can really stand out.
Yeah. That said, also, it like in the qualifying amateurs, it is the 90 athletes, like male, 90 male, 40 female. They're all going to be just basically doing a timed race of just 6 obstacles in the fastest time. So it is timed like that. So they'll probably get through that pretty quickly. But I think from there, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty competition of amateurs versus invited, and then to the finals, which I think will be very fun. I don't know. And then it's the top 11 ninjas in the finals, which I think could be some cool stuff. One thing to note is that it also says tournament format and numbers may be prone to change. I'm curious to see if they're going to change some things that they might learn from the Phoenix competition. because there's 2 competitions, and one is going to be in Phoenix a little bit before the San Diego one. So I'm curious to see if something happens in Phoenix where they might change some things up. And other than that, I don't know. I think this has the chance and potential to be a very, very fun thing. Unfortunately, I also I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion also. There might not be as many people competing in this as maybe they're letting on, but we'll see on tournament day,
Cool. I mean, they get 70,000, 80,000 people from across the country applying. And we see these local competitions, they do fairly well. They've got to be able to fill those spots.
These are some expensive tickets, though. I think we're going to get a lot of people watching the competitions, but you're gonna have to really be committed to go for the actual tournament, because I forget what is the cost of these. It's over $100 to get a chance into it, and it's asking a lot.
Yeah, and I think the spectator tickets are $30. I saw.
Yeah,
which in the middle of the winter, people aren't really thinking, unless you're a diehard, you're not really thinking about Ninja this time of year. So, I mean, I really want to hear. So those of you going to Phoenix, let us know. Let us know how it was. We really definitely want to know how it went, and if you enjoyed it, if we think that some things have to change. Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I definitely want to know, because I paid over $90 to spend 2 minutes on an American Ninja Warrior course. And after I go, I'll very much let everybody know how I feel about that purchase. But going into it, I'm keeping an open mind, and at the very least, I'm going to have a really cool video of me competing that you all can see.
That will be very cool. So moving on, we have one last question here. Nathan Stinson on Twitter reached out to us to ask, would you like to see ANW adopt the same rule as Beastmaster, where all 4 limbs have to hit the water to disqualify someone?
I mean, that's... initially, I'm like, instantly, yes, that's awesome. But then the thing is, 4 limbs is pushing it. What do you think, Rich? Do you think 2 limbs would be better? Or I think the key problem is that I absolutely hate the toe touch or the foot touch. Now, we've seen in Team Ninja Warrior something slightly different where you can get both feet wet. And the good thing about that is it does go on to hinder the competitors, right? So I don't have too much of an issue with somebody falling into the water with both their feet. I think once you get an arm in the water, though, I think that point, you can pretty much call it for the guy. But I'm open for all 4 limbs also.
I have a couple problems with it. As much as I hate the toe touches, the shirt dipping into the water, all those stupid little things that cause people to get bumped out. It drives me insane. But it's kind of a love-hate. I as much as I don't want to say that, it adds so much to the tension of the show, right? It's something you don't want to happen. You're just dreading it. But that leads to the excitement of watching ANW. It is part of the excitement that Flip Rodriguez could be coming, he's strong, he can do the course, but one little slip up, all it takes is one tiny mistake and the season can be done. I love that tension, and I feel like we would lose it if we lost that rule.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that is a good point of the fact that in American Ninja Warrior, there is something to be said for the fact that you have to be perfect. You cannot make any type of mistake. Whereas in Beastmaster, there is that threshold where you can make a little bit mistakes. You could fall into the water and continue moving on, right? I go back and forth because it's so quick that, toe taps and stuff like that, there is no tension involved with it. However, there is the argument of they weren't perfect, and at the end of the day, that's their fault. So, yeah, I see both sides to it. Personally, I would be quite all right with the 2-limb rule, where you can tap your foot into the water or scrape your feet into the water, but you can't fall into it to the point where your hand's in the water. But, I understand if you, like anybody else, or, the producers aren't cool with it also.
I think it would actually require some course change, some major course revisions too, because the water's so deep on Beastmaster that, it's easy to get all four limbs wet. You could, some of these competitors on AW could just walk through the water from obstacle to obstacle, right? Like, it just, the four limbs thing wouldn't really work.
Okay, well, maybe feet or something. That's a good point. Maybe, you can't get past your knees.
Suddenly the towers of power are just dominating the sport.
Yeah, I would say, like, Towers of Power, or this guy's name that's, like, freaking 7 feet tall or whatever.
Oh, I almost said Andre the Giant. John Alexis Jr.
Yeah, John Alexis Jr., like, I can see them. But, yeah, I don't know. At the same time, though, it does annoy me when you're just very close to the water and somebody just skims it. It's freaking annoying. But, I think ultimately, though, the one show that it does matter far more, which I'm all right with the fact that where they do allow it, is Team Ninja Warrior. I think this would be far more of an issue if Team Ninja Warrior invoked a ruling where you can't touch the water. I think that would be far more egregious because you're going so fast. The particular obstacles, you're closer to the water. So ultimately, American Ninja Warrior, it's hit or miss, really. But Team Ninja Warrior, or Ninja, what is it? Ninja versus Ninja, right?
Yeah, Ninja versus Ninja.
I have to get used to that, bro. Ninja versus Ninja, that's the one that matters to me. I'm very glad that they have the ruling that they have in place.
Yeah, that would totally kill that. You're talking about two very different ways of competing on a ninja course, right? Methodically trying to do it perfect versus doing it as fast as you possibly can. You can't keep those same rules in place.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair, I mean, Ultimate Beastmaster this season has adopted a far more fast-paced edge to it, where there aren't many opportunities to go methodical, other than maybe the first stage. But after that, I mean, jets are going, man. You got to keep moving.
Yeah, Beastmaster is totally different too, and I think all of the rules make sense for the courses that they're on at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So that is it for this week. We actually are keeping it short for once. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151.
All right. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic week.
Peace, love, and deuces, y'all. I miss pizza, damn it!